Go.
That's the most energy I've had all day. Ben, y'all missed it. That was it. Welcome to Thursday Night Shift. I'm excited to introduce you to my friend Bree, who just like 5 seconds ago said, we're no longer friends because she's speaking tonight. So she's breaking up with me. But if you don't know Bree, get to know Bree. She's the most hysterical person, the most quick-witted person I've ever met. She will have you rolling, but she will also inspire you like none other. So get your listening ears, as Heather says, your coyote ears up, mouth shut, ears up, listen to Bree because she's gonna preach it tonight. So take it away, Bree.
Okay. Well, thank you. My name is Bree Katzenberger, and a little bit about myself. So my Scentsy journey officially started in June of 2008. And honestly, if I'm totally honest, I had zero intention of going anywhere with this business. I joined thinking my sisters and my mom would buy enough that I could get mine for free. And I could not afford my monthly habit that I had formed. So boy, was I wrong. When Callie first asked me, I remember this crazy ping of like, oh, great. My friends are going to realize that I'm a giant imposter. But I quickly told myself not to believe that lie and to kick rocks. So here we are. I want to share with you guys something though. And so I've been pondering for the last couple weeks because yes, I watch the Thursday Night Shift regularly. And I know that you guys are led by creative geniuses. And for the last 2+ years, you guys have shown up every week and I've watched all the best tips, all the best tricks, had my own mind blown time and time again. It's literally impossible for anybody to not succeed if they go through any of your past trainings that you guys have here. And so what can I bring coming in hot with my little circus? What can I bring? And as I was talking to Callie and working through kind of some of my thoughts, I thought, you know what? Something I have learned in the last 14 years is that me and my circus of monkeys, we were enough to get somewhere in this business. And so I kind of want to share with you just my journey of what it looks like to be totally the opposite of creative geniuses, how I've kept my business super simple and learned to grow be comfortable in who I am in my business. So 14 years ago, starting back at the beginning, if you would have told me then that I was going to at some point promote to the highest title of something, I would have laughed in your face. I'm a super closet introvert, like by nature. I was running a daycare, so I didn't have to people that much. I was putting my husband through school. I always wanted to be a mama first. And so I was kind of living my best stay-at-home mom life, doing the best that I could. I love my friends, but I've always kept a really small, tight-knit circle. And so being in my home was kind of my safe haven. And I just love to hibernate. And so I embraced the way too much introvertedness in Brianna. And so as I joined though, I remember thinking when I joined, this is something different. I've never done this before. When I clicked join, I was like, okay, this is probably something that's bigger than me because I had had enough successful parties. They were all over $1,000. So I was like, okay, people really like this stuff. It's here local to where I live. They still don't know what Scentsy is. They still called it Scentsy and didn't understand what this thing was. And so it was fun to explain the product. But like when I joined, honestly, I did not love who Brianna was. If I'm totally honest with you, I didn't have anything that I was proud of except for Carter. And so I had spent the better half of my 20s just listening to those lies of like, well, you were an idiot and you got pregnant real young. And here you are living on the system. I just believed these lies of like stereotypical young mama lies and was really like living two worlds of being really proud of myself that I was a good mom and being really ticked at myself because I hadn't accomplished what I had set out to accomplish. And in my head, I had that ingrained that I needed to go to college and I needed to get this degree and I needed to be a social worker or a teacher or whatever. I had all these plans and I became a mom first. And so while I loved being a mom and while I loved being married to my husband, I also had succumbed to the thought of this is just who I am. This is just who I'm going to be. And I was fresh off of my own parents' divorce. When I joined Scentsy, it was just a couple years behind. And I watched my mom, who was just a mama, have to go out into the world. And I was so pissed at myself that I had let myself be in this vulnerable space, right? Where I was going to have to rely on somebody else if something happened with my marriage or whatever. Here's the thing though, Scentsy. See here, the biggest thing for me with Scentsy is I'm actually one of the lucky ones. I grew up with both of my sponsors. My original sponsor, who's no longer with us, was a dear friend. And then my current forever sponsor is one of our company's Circle of Excellence winners, Lindsay Bates. And so I was set from the gate, in my opinion. But like each of you, with all of the tangible things that you have and all the amazing leaders that you have that lead you through this, I needed to get out of my own freaking damn way. I was literally in my own way. And so I remember thinking, here I am. I kind of hate myself. I wouldn't say I hate myself. In retrospect, that's what I would say. But at the time, I just didn't know who Brianna was because I went straight from high school to being a mom and I just didn't know who I was or what I could contribute, right? And so I came in thinking, I'll just replicate Lindsay. We are absolutely opposites. And I'll just replicate Adi Mitchell. I'll just replicate all these people that I saw as soon as I joined Scentsy that had beautiful personalities, Melissa, and all these people that I saw at very early events that I was like, I'll just replicate that person. And so I remember thinking, I'll just replicate this boss babe side hustle thing. But about 8 years in, I hit a wall because I was replicating something that I wasn't. And so at that point, I also had my third child. So 2 more kids came in. And so some of my burnout might have been contributed to having Shepherd at a much later age than my first. But in this moment, I just knew this is not me. I cannot keep burning the wick from both ends and not getting anywhere. And you guys know that the struggle, hustle, and I just can't keep being extra all the time and still function. And it was in those early moments of 2016. And I am a believer in a higher power. And so I was dead asleep in the middle of the night. And somewhere I truly felt like God woke me up from this deep sleep. And I heard, Brianna, you are enough. If you love them well, they will rise. And I'm like, okay, whatever, Brianna, you are seriously tired. You are psychotic. And somebody's got voices in their mind that need to shut the hell up in the middle of the night and go back to sleep. So I went back to sleep. I just thought I was like cracking out on no sleep with the newborn. But when I woke back up, it would not let go of me. I woke back up and I remember the same thing, like, you are enough. You just need to love them well. But what does you are enough mean? What is that? What does that even mean? When I'm constantly pursuing something else in this business or in this world, what does you are enough mean? Right. And so I sat down with Lindsay and I said, okay, listen, I'm a star director with 0 current frontline directors. So I've got the title, but I don't have, and I don't know. I'm going to see this thing through, Lindsay, and I'm going to become a superstar director in 2016, or I'm going to peace out. Because if I'm enough and whatever this stupid dream is that I just had, then we'll figure it out. Right. Well, if you know Lindsay, she's so good, just like your leaders here, of giving tangible steps of what I needed to do. So she gave me the tangible steps. We lined out 6 potential people that could become leaders. And I figuratively was like, all right, I'm gonna go figure out what this you are enough baloney is. but I'm not going to be a boss babe. So I got to figure this out. And what does this look like for Brianna? And so this is what I've discovered in the last several years of what being enough is in the pursuit of my Scentsy business. Being enough is that you are enough just as you are made. You are enough. However, one thing that I never wanted to hang on is what does you are enough mean and what does it not mean? Because being enough doesn't mean that I've been measured by any of my friends, right? It means that I am just enough who I am. There's no label. There's no you've arrived. There's no you've worked hard enough, that you've presented well enough. It's simply that you were created enough, that you and your ownness were created for this, right? You don't have to be more. You don't have to buy more or do more. You get to be enough in whoever you are. But what I learned through that is that when I know that I'm enough, you're also not the finished product. You are not complete, and you are not done growing and changing and learning from your experiences along the way. Who I am today is not even remotely who I was when I joined Scentsy 14 years ago. And so it also means that you don't have to be everything all the time. And when I learned that, it became a lot easier to ask for things that I knew were outside of my capacity, that I could say, dude, I can't create this thing, but guess what? There's this chick named Heather, and she just created this massive Active in April psychotic, amazing thing. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to run with it. Right. Like I learned I am not creative enough, but I have friends that are on a level of their own. I've learned a lot of different things about, think of Jilly Sue and how she has shared all her social media things and places that I would have gone down rabbit holes trying to figure out. And there are friends of mine that have shared some of this epic stuff with, right? And then I had friends who met me where I was, like Jamie, and said, girl, I'm gonna sit here and be enough with you. But along the way, those moments of meeting those people and realizing I can just ask, or they're being willing to just share, like, I don't have to recreate something. I can borrow this and I can learn that, you know what, this is going to help me in my business. And I do not have to like try to learn all the freaking things about QR codes because that's going to send me to the loony bin. So somebody did it for me. Thank you. But I learned I don't have to be self-sufficient. I can learn to ask for things. I can learn to borrow things. I can learn to pick people's brains. When you realize that you're enough, it is easier to ask. It's easier to say, dude, this is too much for me. Did you read what that said? And have somebody else share it, right? You learn it's easier to admit your weaknesses and be totally okay with it. You learn that you're not flawless and that you're going to make mistakes. One of my most favorite things has been learning that I can just totally say, I'm so sorry. I've screwed up so many times with customers, with downline, with whoever. And I have learned, I actually really love apologizing. Like, you know what? I totally screwed up and I'm so sorry. Like, I'm going to make mistakes, but I hope to shout, I learn through them and don't make them too many times. I make mistakes every day, as do most of your leaders, I'm sure. But here's the thing. I also have learned I am not my mistakes. Those are not the truest, most important version of me. I see them, I acknowledge they're there, and I move on. Like, hey, mistake, what's up? You're mine. Like, here we are, you know? And I learned to make a meme out of it and laugh about it because it's just who I am, right? You are enough means that you were made on purpose, with a purpose, and for a purpose. I believe that each of us are here to create an impact in the world around us. And honestly, if I think of all of the leaders on here, every single one of them, Melissa, Jamie, Jilly Sue, Jen, Jody, Heather, Callie, we all, except for Callie, we all live in like amazing corners of the world. Callie and I live right around the corner from each other. We're not too far. But the rest of us would probably never come in contact with one another based on where we live in this world. And we would probably not meet half of the same people that any of us have met. And so I feel like each of us and all of you watching, we were created to make the world around us better, for having known us, for having met us, whatever it is, whether it's with Scentsy or without, you were created to love the world around you and make it a better place. So make no mistake that you were the person created for wherever you are in this place and this time. You are enough, mess and all, beautifully broken, showing up to your life every single day. Here's the thing. That is literally the magic potion in Scentsy business and in life, is that you got to show the heck up persistently and consistently. Decide what you're going to do, borrow from your leaders and friends, take what you want to take, but do it with persistent consistency, and you will get to wherever you want to go. That was my big aha moment, was like, I don't have to be this, or this person. I can be me. I can grab the handful of things from each of them or from the workstation, and I can just embrace who I am. And when I did that, all of a sudden, like, the blinders came off, and I was all of a sudden okay letting the world see that I am a giant hot mess express. And so here's the thing, learning that I was enough, I learned to go up to people and be like, oh my gosh, I have been following you, Melissa, since this day on this beach in this whatever. She hates when I do that. But there's like moments of friends to say, I just freaking love your wife, actually. Just kidding. But all these people, all these friends of mine that I finally was like, dude, I don't care if they know I'm totally the hot mess express. Like, I'm going to tell them how much they've helped me in my own business. And I'm going to start changing and growing and becoming, and prove to myself that I can do whatever I want to do in this business. So be yourself, but chase it consistently and persistently. When I learned that I was enough, it also made me more aware to be more open, more honest, more true to myself, more authentic to myself, more connected with the world around me. I wasn't spent all this time hiding from everybody. I became more intentional, more purposeful. I shared when life gets straight up crappy. And I've shared seasons of just garbage with my friends to say, hey, listen, I'm enough, and this is all I'm going to have to be right now because whatever is going on. And I've learned there's different levels of enoughness. And sometimes I show up as big as I don't show up in the next season, but it's about changing yourself and challenging yourself to grow into a better you. Here's the thing. We live in a world that is massive cancel culture, for lack of a better word. And when you realize that you're enough, you also have to acknowledge and realize that every single person around you is also enough. And so it teaches you to have a lot more grace for the world around you. It teaches you that your friends are enough too. It teaches you that the world is actually a really beautiful place, and you can learn from the uniqueness and the differences in the world around you. Different things that I've learned through this quest of enoughness is my confidence is important, and I don't have to be overly confident. I can be confident in certain areas of my life. Like, I can be confident in my honesty, and nothing feels more comfortable and more amazing than to just be comfortable and confident in who you are. I also have learned comparison is not fair. So I've learned, and sometimes I got to check myself and tell fear to kick rocks, but most of the time others are not comparing you to other people. It's you comparing yourself. And so when you stop that, because here's the thing, comparison isn't fair to you, but it's also not fair to the people that you're putting on pedestals. And it's cutting out the differences. It's cutting out the unique things that you can bring to this business. And I learned that the approval of others does not matter. I have to live with the person. At the end of the day, I'm the only person who will be in the other side of that mirror until I close my eyes for the last time. Nothing else is promised, right? And so I have to love Brianna, and I have to be able to strive and build relationships that are healthy with other people. And that does not come with the approval of other people. And honestly, when you realize you're not going to be it for everyone all the time, sometimes you're in the way of your friends having better relationships with other people. So sometimes you got to scoot over and allow the space for better relationships to come. I've learned gratitude through my mistakes. I've learned to be aware of our company that we work with and how grateful I am that they are constantly striving to be better. I've also learned gratitude from the lessons that I've learned. And I'm thankful for having gone through a lot of them because it's gotten me to where I am today. I've also learned that the phrase, live your best life, that's something that we say often in this, it sometimes gets lost in translation. And living your best life is unique to you. It's unique to the things that you love. It's unique to, if you want to live in the middle of nowhere, Texas, because it brings you joy to live in the tiniest little town, then you get to do that. But if you are somebody who loves the mountains and you want to live in Northeast New York because you just love, I'm just kidding. But you have to be confident to live your best life and wherever that is, right? For me, I have always loved Idaho. It's not where I'm originally from, but I've come and gone for the last 20 years. And there's certain things that I've learned to love about it. There's, I learned family was important to me, raising my kids in a pretty safe environment. Idaho is kind of this little like under a rock. Nobody knew about us till we were the last state to get COVID. I'm just kidding. But like, I've learned different things that I love about where I live or the parts of the world that I've lived in. I've lived in lots of other places, but the things like living my best life has to be unique to me. And I found that I was trying to live my best life by following people. Like I lived in Hawaii for 18 months. I hated every minute of it because I was sweaty and hot all the time. But there are some people who they love that. Not this girl, not at all. But I chalked it up as a fun season, right? And so there's different things I have had to learn what matters, what doesn't matter. I've had to learn the big picture. And the thing that I learned in 2016 was I didn't have my why and my goals in check. So from a business perspective, I was so caught up in replicating what I saw instead of taking it and making it my own or taking certain things. And what is the big picture? What is the thing? It was learning to love myself and learning that if I love others well around me, together we're going to rise, whether that's in personal or professional life, right? And so accepting that and seeing the big picture and making some tangible steps, it changed everything and it gave me a stronger mind. And so here's the thing, from a business perspective, I literally stick to the workstation or what my friends gift me. But for the most part, each of us have the same tools in the workstation. I literally go there if I'm needing to feel educated or trained. I go over to the training center. If you are brand new, you log into your workstation, you go up to the little top left corner in the dashboard, you drop down to the training center, and you are going to open your eyes to something so amazing. I literally go there all the time. I feel like the most important place is the sell and sponsor place, because if you master those two topics in business, you will literally go to wherever you are going to go. If you can master that, as Orville always says, your sales are your income today, your recruits are your retirement, or something in that line. And it's literally that simple. With that space, you can learn about mastering prospecting. You can figure out how to find more people so that you don't have the excuse of, I just don't know that many people. You can learn how to book and how to get those parties booked, because our parties are the lifeblood of it all. You can learn how to hostess coach so that your hostesses are as excited as you are. You can learn how to present better so that you feel more comfortable in what you are speaking about. And honestly, the biggest, best little nugget is that you learn about follow-up. And if any leader tells you, it's probably single-handedly the weakness of all of our businesses is forgetting to follow up with somebody, and sponsoring. If you can master these things, we all have them. I literally promise you will go all the way to the top of your business. So that is what I have for you guys today. I'm so thankful that all your friends asked me to come on here and share a little bit. And I love the Thursday night shift. So thank you, ladies.
Well, thank you so much. I've been going back and forth here between the Facebook chat and this chat. And really, honestly, I think so many people just keep saying, oh, Jodi's holding her notes. They really just needed this. They needed to hear that they were enough. And I think that with our businesses, doubt or the belief that we don't deserve success is one of the biggest things, because we don't feel like we're enough to deserve it. Right. And so I really appreciate you sharing just that message, because I think everybody needs to be reminded that you are, and you do deserve it, and you can make it happen.
Yeah, I got stuff. I got stuff to say, Bree. First of all, I did take a lot of notes because I can get a lot of the technical stuff from the workstation or from my friends or from YouTube for that matter. What I, struggle with getting is the emotional side of the business, the stuff that, sometimes I think we need a healthy dose of technical and, an emotional almost a support, right? That's where a lot of our personal growth comes in. I can learn Excel, but sometimes I need someone to just tell me I'm enough, or that, they believe in me so that I can learn to believe in myself. So I did take a lot of notes tonight, and I'm not a very good note taker. So if you guys have been watching for 2 years, I really, this is a struggle for me. So I tend to write down what the idea was that sparked, like what, not necessarily what you said, but what it sparked, for me. So the last couple of things I got out of this was, a lot of people, they don't think that they are enough. So they overcomplicate, and they think that they're not enough. And they also kind of look at some of the processes we have and the tools, and they overcomplicate it. So they have to, kind of remember, you are enough, but you have to believe in yourself, and don't overcomplicate it. You have everything that you need, that we've had and more. You have at your fingertips. You just have to believe that you can do it, and you have to go out and teach yourself the areas that you need help in. And if you need help, you have to reach out. A lot of people, are afraid to reach out maybe to their upline, because, and I'm sure many of us could agree that, I know you're busy. I'm sorry to bother you. I didn't want to interrupt your day. That's what we're here for. We are here to help guide you. I have no problem in helping and guiding a consultant who has the same desire to help and guide themselves along the way, right? As long as they know I'm not here to do their job for them, but I'm helping them. I'm here for that all day long. So you guys, I hope that you all took some nuggets and some notes as Bree poured and filled. You filled my cup, so I appreciate you very much. Thank you. And I hope others were able to get something out of this as well. So thanks,
I wanted
Bree.
to add something else. I love how she said, and it's just, we all just love the touchy feely. Like some people are really good at it, some aren't. And then you don't know you need it until you're hearing it and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know I needed this. And it's just those things that maybe we've heard 100 times, but sometimes you're sitting in the right place at the right time and you hear the right words and it just resonates at all the things, right? But like she just said, it's, like just identifying what works for you. And guess what? It's okay if you are not perfect on Canva. It's okay if you're not a perfect trainer. It's okay if you're not a perfect sponsor. I don't know why I said trainer, but you know what I meant. Whatever it is, there's plenty of avenues. There's plenty of people. There's now a whole Facebook group devoted just to help with Canva and Canva templates. And she's just a great reminder to be like, it's okay. You don't have to be what so-and-so is or so-and-so is. Be who you are and be who you are meant to be, because it's just waiting. That's just you. It's just waiting for you to step into yourself to become who you are meant to be. And it was a great reminder tonight to like, let go of all those other expectations of what you think it should look like. Like she mentions several names, and I can remember coming up the same thing, like A.D. Mitchell's name was all over, Becca Levi's name was all over, Lindsay Bates' name was all over. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do what they're doing. But I can tell you, and I've said it a million times, if I would have done what they were doing, and there's nothing wrong, they're amazing people, it would not have been a fit for me. I have to do what's a fit for me. And that's what's so amazing about this opportunity and this company, is because you make it for you, and you are successful. You are the most successful when you are true to yourself and your ways of working. So thank you for the reminder tonight, Bree. It was absolutely amazing.
I'm going to piggyback on that, JP. Bree, thank you very, very much for spending time with us. This Thursday night shift community is a pretty loyal group, and they're diehards. And to bring somebody like you to provide such raw, just, truth to this community. The chat was filled with people saying, I needed this. I needed to hear this. This is exactly what I needed. So you are such a light in that regard, is that you don't even know your own power, because just like you've looked up to, and we all have, right? We've all looked up to our own Scentsy idols. You have people that do the same because you've been that person for them. The biggest thing I want to say that I took away from everything that you said that I think is important to mention and remember is that how you perceive yourself is not typically how others perceive you. We are the hardest on ourselves. So we cut ourselves down. We think we're less than, we don't think we're enough. And then we think that that's what other people believe about us. And what Jody said about having people to lean on and lean into, those are the people that can remind us that we aren't that, in the words of Callie's mom, itty bitty icky committee, right? We're not who we tell ourselves that we are, that people perceive us in a much better way than we're hard on ourselves. And so, Bree, I think that you really drove that point home for me. It's an excellent reminder. I'm even going to do this entire little talk right here without even poking one single joke or poking fun at you. So I would appreciate the same respect, although you've already failed.
So I feel like I have to read this. So I'm drinking my bedtime tea, and I don't know if you guys know that yogi tea always has a little message. That's one of the things I love about this tea. And listen to my message tonight. It says, when fear is forcing you to give up, call upon your heart's courage to continue. I mean, does that not go perfect with everything that Bree just said? And I love that one of the biggest things that makes me so happy about your story, Bree, is that you had a choice. You chose to have courage. You chose to try and not give up and keep going and going and going. And that is so amazing and means so much to so many people on this call, as you guys have all pointed out. And seriously, you are such an inspiration. And I love how you pointed out, we're all so completely different. Every single one of us is so different. We all have our strengths and we all have our weaknesses. And nothing makes me happier than when somebody breaks through that wall and finds their way, finds the courage to keep going, finds what keeps them going. So thank you, Bree, so much.
All right. Well, Miss Bree, do you have any last words you want to add, or does anybody have anything else before we wrap up this Thursday night shift? A little short one tonight. I think it's full of lots of great info and just some definite thought processes for some.
Well, it's short too. Waiting to a question, that's usually a 15 or 20 minutes process. So
oh yeah,
great. We got right to the nitty gritty. We got to the good stuff, girl.
We got to the good stuff.
We got to the middle creamy part.
Wow. I'm not sure where to go with that.
Listen, Heather usually has all the inappropriate jokes. Look at Jody's coming home tonight.
I cannot even talk. I wish I could. There's so much I want to say, you guys. My mouth hurts so bad. But thank you, Bree. You're seriously, you are telling the story that so many people want to hear that we don't talk about enough, because in every person in this business, there is a side where we don't want to get out of bed. I don't feel like doing Scentsy, in some days, and it's okay. You don't have to be 24/7 Scentsy, and you don't have to know how to do everything. And I think a lot more times than none, people compare themselves to somebody else's greatness and find the flaw within themselves. They look at it as a flaw, and it's not. It's just an area that you choose to improve on or not. We all have the possibility to learn something new or do something great. And in this world, there's all different types of people. And I think that was just such a great representation tonight of we are all different. You don't have to be exactly like somebody else to find your place, to find your spot, to find 100% in with Scentsy. You can still be 25% in with Scentsy and still fulfill your heart and what you need to do in this world. So thank you so much, Bree. I really appreciate you, opening your heart and sharing with everybody, because everybody does have their place. And it is important to know that it's not always rainbows and butterflies. There are days that the most positive people don't want to get up and do and be in front of people and answer the phone or take some time just for themselves. There's so many different factors into running a business and running life, and it's not easy. It's very, very hard. So, but it also can be very rewarding too, when you do put in the time and the consistency. So thank you so much.
All right, Kelly, you want to close us out? You're muted, Sweet Pea.
Thank you so much. I was saying, we just hope that, Bree, thank you again from the bottom of all our hearts. I can't wait for you to go back and read some of these comments, because I know that how empowering that is, even as a leader. So thank you so very much. Thank you guys for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed tonight. We hope that you're enjoying this new incentive. I know there's many of you that have already earned it, and we can't wait to see all of you hopefully at Scentsy Family Reunion. We have about 2 more weeks left for that, and we'll be back here next week for Thursday Night Shift. Bye, guys.